across the street and then up the ramp, and it's very, very crowded.
Love it.
Love you too. See you over there.
There you go. Evan was asleep. I figured he had a good time and he was tired. You had to wait to even back your car up to get in the line to get down the ramp. And then we got into a single file line. And then we were just waiting. We had been sitting there, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I imagined being stuck in the car in that parking ramp for 45 minutes with a crying baby, and he hardly ever cried. And then I heard him make some strange sounds, almost like he was gasping for air. All I could think of was that he must be choking on something, but knowing that there was nothing he could possibly be choking on.
Dennis McMahon and his family happened to be in the car directly behind Wendy.
Evan, what's wrong, honey? What's wrong? No, there's something wrong.
You need help.
Yes, I don't know. He quit breathing. Help.
What's the matter?
I don't know.
What's the matter?
I don't know.
Is he choking?
I don't know.
When I looked at the baby, it was very blue around the lips, so I went to what we call an obstructed airway maneuver, where I did back blows and some chest thrusts.
No CPR?
Yes, I'm a police EMT. Back when I was in uniform, that was part of my job, was responding to medical emergencies.
Here, he's getting better. He's all right. He said something's going on.
I looked at Evan, and he was bluer than before, and I panicked. I really started screaming then.
I felt that the baby's heart was going to stop any second, if it hadn't already, and we'd be in big trouble at that point in time.
When we continue.
I thought if there was a chance of that baby surviving.
When Wendy Wazalowski's 7-week-old son Evan stopped breathing in a crowded parking structure, his hope was the people who happened to be nearby, including Wendy's good friend, Lance Riska.
I remember a man coming up, wanting to help.
CPR.
He didn't know what to do. And I told him, step back. You know, this man's an EMT. He knows what he's doing.
You can do a lot of harm if not properly trained. Infant especially, you know, their lungs capacity is smaller, their bones are much frailer, their head goes too far, usually, you know, snap the cervical, the neck area.
I just figured Evan was dead. This little child that I just gotten, that I love so much, that I went through so much for, I'm not going to have him again.
You'll be okay.
I listened, there was no air coming out. Check of the brachial pulse up in the arm, nothing there. The seat's quite firm. Started doing my impressions of 5 to 1.
How's the baby doing?
I've got no heartbeat, no breathing yet. You call 911.
Wendy has a bag phone. She was still too hysterical to try to talk to him, so she threw the telephone to me. Up to this point, I just felt totally powerless, and at this point, it was like, now I can help. I can do this.
Central Dispatch.
Yeah, is this 911?
Yes, go ahead.
We have an emergency with an infant. We're in the parking ramp on level 5.
Which parking ramp, sir?
Across from the Civic Center.
Okay, what's wrong?
The baby's not breathing. She just quit breathing.
Is the baby getting any air at all?
I don't know. There's a gentleman here who says he's
Right
an
across,
EMP.
right across from the Civic Center.
Can't really say I've ever done CPR on an infant before other than in training. So I did what I've been teaching and what I practiced, but things were going downhill quick.
CPR, how old is the child?
2 months.
2 months. How long has it been that the child hasn't been breathing, sir?
Probably about 3-4 minutes now.
3 to 4 minutes.
Maybe 5.
Has the man been working on the child the whole time?
No, only about 2 minutes.
Dennis's wife Pam tried to console Wendy.
I thought if there was a chance of that baby surviving, Denny could do it. But I just thought the baby was too far gone at that point.
You put your phone down or whatever there and go over and see if the child's getting any air.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
I remember sending my daughter to find out if the baby was getting any air because I didn't want to holler through this crowd. I didn't want the answer to come out loud for Wendy to hear it.
No, he's not.
The child is still getting no air.
The mobile medical response unit en route included paramedic Faye Martini.
The entrance ramps at the Civic Center are not high enough for our ambulance to get up the ramps. So when we get a call there, we have to go in on foot. And if we couldn't find it in a fairly short period of time, the chances for the baby's survival continued to diminish.
Four to 5 minutes at least had gone by, and then the baby coughed a little bit. It moved its eyes, and the color just started coming back, and I thought, oh my God, you know.
He was much better.
In my mind still, Evan was dead, and I just could not bear to look at him and see him blue again. They had to force me to look at him. He looked disoriented and just kind of looked at me like, what's going on, Mom?
We'll get it down.
Okay, wait a minute. What's the truck look like?
It's a gold Dodge Caravan.
A gold Dodge Caravan?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll get it down.
I've always been a bit of a wild driver.
Gotta get the baby down now. They can't get the ambulance up here.
And again, I had the same feeling at that moment. You know, here's something that I can do.
Wendy, no, you don't. No, Wendy, don't.
Any point in time, it could stop again, the heart and the breathing. With an infant, it goes that quick.
I hope you don't value the offenders too much.
I still had some real scary thoughts that if it did make it, there might be brain damage.
Let's get out of the way there, everybody. Out of the way.
Move back in there. Back in there.
Dennis's friend Perry Birchfield was trying to clear an open lane.
A couple of guys looked at me with their families and said, yeah, you're just trying to get out of here early. I didn't waste my time on them. You need to get the people out of the way that will get out of the way and hope that if they made a move, then everybody else behind them would make moves.
Out of the way.
They moved because we really gave them no choice. It was either move or we're going to hit you.
Man.
They pushed to the sides as much as they could until we got all the way down to the exit booth, and there was one man who, didn't want to give up his spot.
Look at this. This is ridiculous.
There's only one little wall in between us and that ambulance, and the person at the gate was taking money from the car in front of me. I screamed, I honked, I was frantic.
I don't want to move the baby until we get to the ambulance rig. If the airway was the problem in the first place, I wanted to keep that head in that position the best I could because I don't want to take a chance of blocking it off again.
When we got the infant was breathing 4 times a minute. The heart rate was about 60 to 80, and it should be double that.
Baby's not doing too good. We better get going. Yeah.
They were going to transport him to the hospital, but would not let me ride with them. I didn't want him to be without his mother. I wanted to be right beside him and hold his hand.
What we were taught to do was to pretty much start stimulating the baby, to get him to move around and get the baby oxygenated and hope that the cardiac would kick in like it should.
Right, real good now. That's what we want to hear. Come on, darling.
By the time we got him to the hospital, he was crying like a trooper.
And it had like a little obstruction of fluid at the time, so I cleared the airway.
7-week-old Evan Wasilowski was taken to St. Luke's Hospital.
I knew that he was stabilized by then, but I still didn't know what could have caused this. And then they finally come back and said that they thought it was pneumonia, but they were pretty sure that's all it was.
Here he is. Scared.
Keith Kosas was the pediatrician on duty.
He had 2 weeks earlier had a very common virus which set him up for a secondary infection, and that caused him to stop breathing. Had it not been for the efforts of Mr. McMahon, he probably would not have lived.
When he finally looked up at me and he smiled, I cried. And he kind of was like saying, Mom, I'm okay. You'll be okay. And that smile was the best thing I ever saw. Come on. Come on. Yay! Yeah!
It's been nearly a year since the incident.
Before I could go back to work, I needed to find someone that was trained in CPR because I would not leave Evan with anyone that was not CPR trained. It's very, very important. That's right here. What are the odds of what happening again? Having a EMT in the car right behind me. Who is it? It's for me?
I normally would work that night. I happened to take a few hours off just to go with my family. Normally I wouldn't have been there. It was almost a miracle. I mean, it was meant to be.
Yay, Evan. What a big boy.
And it just puffs of air with an infant. You'll cover both the mouth and the nose, okay? So it'll be...
Dennis came to my home and taught my mother and my babysitter and my friend Robin CPR, and then, of course, let me brush up on it again.
Chin lift, chin lift. You don't want to do any kind of cervical injury to the neck.
I really think everyone should learn it and not have to go through what I went through, that panic and feeling helpless. You want one of these? Yeah.
Wendy's like a sister to me, and so Evan is just like a nephew to me.
Birthday hat? Every little boy should have a corny birthday hat. At least once in their life.
Evan's a very intelligent baby, and he's very, very strong, and you know, he's probably about the best baby I've ever met.
Ready, Evan? 1, 2, 3. Yay! I get to look at Evan's eyes and see his smile, and it's because of Denny. He's been my hero from that moment on until now, and Evan's hero.
We've stayed in contact. We call each other all the time. I feel that there's just a bond there between all of us. He's just the cutest little boy. He's full of life, starting to walk.
I don't take him for granted. And when he cries or if he's fussy, I don't think of him as a burden. I think of him as a gift. He's a gift that I almost lost. He's a precious, precious gift.